GamingBolt presents 15 insane gameplay mechanics that haven't been cloned to death. Yet. The building blocks upon which all of the best games are built, the mechanics, are how we interact with and experience the world of a game. From the mundane, like the now universal Batman free-flow combat, to the truly unique. The best games continue to surprise us with fresh ideas that turn games on their head completely. But there are many really great ones that, for whatever reason, the larger industry hasn't seemed to latch onto, at least not yet. Won't you join us as we ask out loud about a few of those mechanics? Please note that there may be entries here that may have been used in other games, but we're looking for gameplay mechanics that haven't been used excessively. With that in mind, let's begin. Magical Scissors, Puppeteer. The charm of the PS3 platform game that time forgot, Puppeteer is all in the presentation. Set up like an elaborate puppet show, the interaction with this charming setup comes from your magical scissors, the Calibris, and how it can cut through the fabric scenery in delightful and charming ways to continue progression. It takes the craft aesthetic further than its closest competition in games like Tearaway or Yoshi's Woolly World can hope to match. Middle-earth Shadow of series, Nemesis system. What raises Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War above being shameless Assassin's Creed wannabes is the Nemesis system, which brings those little stories of personal failure and triumph to life by reacting to your actions against the foe. Get bested by an orc grunt, next time you run into Barlog the Terrible, he'll actually have a name and recall the encounter. Do you need a hasty retreat to collect yourself? Don't be surprised to be called out as a coward next time. Orcs that you've defeated might comment on their scars and fight more desperately for revenge if they get another crack at you. The Nemesis system is what creates a narrative around those emergent stories of the genre and what makes the Shadow of games so special. Doom, Push-Forward Combat System. The push-forward combat system in Doom was a revelation in the genre when the game slammed its way into players' hands back in 2016, changing the entire pace of a pretty stale genre. Getting close and personal to issue a melee glory kill to one of Hell's Legion would cause health to spout from them about as much as the blood, meaning players were seeking out the weakest enemy like a predator when the chips were down instead of fleeing behind a chest-high wall like Prey, lending a visceral, constant action to combat encounters that was worthy of the reboot's title. Does it make sense that most of the health pours from an enemy after you rip out their heart and feed it to them? Well, not really, but it's there to serve the mechanics. It's not like hiding for a moment to recover from a bullet wound makes much sense either, Wolverine. Quantified Emotional States, Darkest Dungeon. Perhaps it's hard to really feel for Cloud Strife when he's dealing with petrification, or really eternalize what your Pikachu's confusion must feel like to the poor creature. But the heroes of Darkest Dungeon, should the terrors of their journey catch up to them, can come down with all kinds of afflictions that their stressed brains use to cope, thus affecting how they act in battle in ways beyond taking damage. I'm sure we can all empathize with stress making us a little paranoid, hopeless, or irrational. Earthbound, Automatic, you win. Anyone who has ever played a JRPG will tell you that random encounters are the devil. While they serve a gameplay purpose, eventually they begin to become a grind, dragging the pace of the game down needlessly. And while some RPGs allow methods to avoid encounters, like Pokemon with Repel, that also means giving up any XP or benefits you might have earned from them along the way. Which is why Earthbound's You Win mechanic was so great. Essentially, once you outpowered a would-be random encounter by enough, the game just assumed that you would win that encounter anyway, and award you the XP and loot automatically, instead of making you sit through the trite busywork of fighting through an encounter you would have won no matter what. More JRPGs should take a leaf from Earthbound. Dark Souls series, Invasion. The Invasion system, pioneered and perfected within the Souls series, has developed into a culture in and of itself. One of the many surprises the dying worlds of each Souls game can throw at you is an invading player, who can try to kill you in order to take your souls by force. Far from a basic slash fest, like the rest of the game, there's a certain tact to it. A cultured player will bow before they engage each other, marking a duel between equals instead of a slap fight. The surprise factor and the way the player base took to it will likely never be faithfully repeated without just flat out being cloned. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Sanity meter. In a survival horror game, the things that go bump in the night can screw with the characters, but Eternal Darkness, which somehow comes to us from a Nintendo second party, would use its sanity meter to screw with the player as well. Play too recklessly and a low sanity meter can result in the player seeing their own gun go off randomly, killing them, only for them to snap out of it, and occasionally in ways that cause real concern, like the game pretending to delete your saves, a blue screen of death, or faking the player out with a demo complete screen. What's more frightening to the jaded horror gamer? Blood dripping from the walls, which yeah, this game will do, or your 15-hour save just disappearing. Bloodborne, counterattack to regain health. Bloodborne is, on the face of it, a Dark Souls game, but with a different layer of clothing. But dig into it a little and you realize just how much From's Lovecraftian masterpiece differs from Dark Souls. From emphasizes a faster pace and more aggressive combat with this game, and all of this can be traced back to one mechanic, the attack to regain health one. You see, in Bloodborne, when you lose health, you have this small window of opportunity where you can regain all of it, simply by being aggressive and attacking the enemy back. Doing this causes the meter to fill back the health you lost, and in turn encourages the player to take risks and be aggressive instead of hiding or running. Overwatch, play of the game. Overwatch was an innovative shooter for a lot of reasons. Chief among them is the MOBA-inspired inclusion of a wide cast of heroes. As that kind of gameplay becomes more common, however, the one subtlety that most would-be imitators miss is the play of the game, highlighting the best moments of the match, not only by the most impressive kill streak, but by all kinds of factors smarter people than us programmed, giving even those underappreciated support characters some chance to shine. Wolfenstein: The New Order / Colossus, Overcharged Health. BJ Blazkowicz of Wolfenstein isn't exactly like his cousin in the Doomslayer, and just can't go ripping the throat of a Nazi to spill out medkits, but there is his overcharged system. All that extra health that BJ can pick up to go above and beyond during a gunfight will slowly tick down when he's not shooting things, but that extra 20 points can help you power through whatever the Third Reich can throw at you. Patapon series. Rhythm is used for everything. Rhythm games mostly come in various glorifications, asking you in various ways, from Rock Band to Thumper, to play back the sequence as it comes like a good boy. Patapon's unique rhythm-based RTS combat instead asks players to keep on the beat so their armies can move ahead, but also to consider what actions they would like to do at any one time for best results. That introduction of choice to rhythm is what makes Patapon stand basically alone in the genre. Super hot. Time moves when you move. Shooters gained an action focus back when we first figured out how to make them work well, with the first Doom keeping players moving constantly to stay alive. But Super Hot dares to ask the question of, what if the player had some time to think things through? By having time move only when they move, and very slowly all other times to keep things from getting too easy, Super Hot turns some very intricate shootouts that would just be a mechanical mess in real time into a puzzle game, which is perfect for the story it tells. Portal series, Portals. Where Super Hot asked players to think through elaborate movie shootouts, Portal dared to make a shooter where there's not really any shooting at all. The connected portals of Valve's darling Half-Life spin-off show an amazing amount of versatility with the simple act of connecting 2 points in space, and then using all of the natural questions that come with that in their genius puzzle design, such as momentum and how to circumnavigate a room full of turrets using a cube, all by thinking with portals. There will be no cake at the conclusion of this feature. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 5 Fulton Recovery System. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and the Phantom Pain's Fulton system is absolutely genius. There's so much nuance to it. What amounts to upgrades for your abilities can be earned on the field, but that involves a level of risk versus reward as you try to isolate the enemy you want to Fulton and then knock them out instead of killing them. It's another way the game subtly nudges you towards stealth and pacifism, which is something Kojima has always tried to encourage in all of his stealth games. Super Smash Bros. Series Rising Stamina System. It sounds like a simple concept. Take a fighting game, but flip the health. Instead of losing health, you accrue damage. That's what Super Smash Bros. Does, but this one simple change makes for a dramatically different fighting game, since the game focuses on ring-outs and not knockouts. This mechanic lets you build up enough damage in the other fighter before you decide to send them flying. The more damage they have, the likelier that they'll be out. It leads to a refreshingly different pace for Smash than you get in most fighting games. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at GamingBolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.